Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Transform Your Sunday. We are a dynamic team of coaches that are here for one purpose, and that is to transform your Sunday. And I am going to kick it over to Juliet to introduce herself.
Hi everyone and Happy New Year.
Mhm.
So, my name is Juliet. I'm a confidence coach and I'm here to help you get rid of your self-doubt, imposter syndrome, get more confident in your life, your job, everywhere, and at the end of the day, get happier. So, if you need to be happier today, contact me. So, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you. Hi, friends. Jen here from Oxygen, Mind and Body Coaching Company with over 28 years experience transforming lives physically and mentally to feel better and live better. And at the end of the day, who doesn't want to feel better and live better? Iris.
Thank you. So my name is ISantos, and I am the owner of ISantos Counseling Coaching. And I work with adult women that are struggling in toxic relationship cycle, and we don't know why. That was me for a long time. So I am here to help you heal the emotional trauma that being in a toxic relationship can cause. So thank you, and Maggie.
Thank you so much. And I'm Maggie Temez. I am the owner and founder of Running Thoughts Living Food, and I specialize in helping diabetics who are struggling with adapting to new meal choices, lifestyles, to find more control, more time, and especially confidence in their choices so that they can live that vibrant lifestyle without getting trapped in bland or boring diets. Because as a chef, that is something that is very important to me. Which brings us around to today's topic. So it's February. We are going to be hitting like Valentine's Day. There's going to be flowers and candy and all of these things. And I wanted to talk today about how meal planning really can affect the rest of our lives. How does like small habits roll over into the rest of what it is that we do? Um, and just for the record, real quick, I wanted to point out that in a month, Jen has gone from 27 years of experience to 28 years of experience. So, exciting for that. Wanted to point that out and celebrate her. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts on meal planning and how that affects the rest of your lives, Jen?
I love this topic. Meal planning is really just preparing for setting up for a great life. I like to take Sundays or one day out of the week and just make like my egg cups, my protein balls. Some ways of meal planning is make extra crock potting, freezing, all ways to have food so readily available that you're not grabbing garbage when you're hungry. There's like, and you open the fridge, there's things that you can readily grab that are healthy for you. I think that's so important. Iris, I saw your hand go up.
Thank you. This is really good. And more than meal prepping and meal and getting ready and setting up yourself for success on Sunday or whatever day you choose, deciding that you want a healthier life. It doesn't matter how much you want to prep, how much you want to have this amazing transformation when it comes to your eating, when it comes to your health. If you don't decide that your life is matters, that your body um, needs protection, and you are the one with the power to protect it by the choices that you make, the food that you choose, the way that you eat it, the time that you eat it. It's very hard. It's very hard. So the first thing is deciding
Hmm.
that you want a better life, a better healthy body, a better sleep, because everything is connected. Maggie.
I I love that. And what I love is that you started off with talking about deciding, and because one of the things I like sharing with people is when you make the decision to want to live better, eat healthier, meal planning is a great way to make the healthy choice
Mhm.
the easy choice. And so when you decide that you do want to be better and you start making those plans ahead of time, what you're really doing is enabling yourself for what that healthy option is to be readily available, easy to grab, easy to consume, and the chances that you are going to take that rather than default to lower quality fast food convenience choices is to set yourself up to make that plan ahead of time. Jennifer, I see you over there. And then
I
let's go over to Juliet real quick, and then we'll come back to Jen because she hasn't been yet.
Yeah, so to be fair, I don't do meal planning. That's my thing. I mean, I don't like, yeah, I don't prepare on Sunday for a meal. I would prepare one meal for 2 or 3 days, but after what I do is I go to the market on the weekend, see what they have, and then I kind of take whatever I like, and I just I don't plan really, but I know what I have, so every day and what's gonna be bad first. I don't know how to say it in English, but what's gonna have to be consumed the fastest. And so I know what to cook before it's like first and then the second one. So I don't have to think. The only thing is I don't have to think about, oh, what I'm gonna do today because I already know, oh, I need to do this first because it's gonna go tomorrow is the one gonna be good. And then I kind of the idea is really to not have to spend. I used to spend like, oh, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do. I don't know. What do I have in my fridge? What's going on? So now I just kind of take everything I got to the market, the fruit and vegetables, and then I roughly know what to cook every day.
That is planning, by the way. I'll
It
go
is.
into that a
Exactly.
little bit deeper in a second, but I'll let Jen go first.
I wanted to just touch on the mind and the body connection because Iris pointed out making the decision. Deciding is deciding for our mind and also our body. It's you're setting yourself up for success when you make that decision, and then you're reinforcing that decision in the preparation. So I just wanted to point out that it's, and like she said, everything is connected. It is a mind body decision. I don't know who to go to next, so I'm just
It
throwing
was
it out
Maggie.
there.
It was Maggie.
So I love how you brought that in, and I want to go a little bit deeper into what Juliet was saying because I think this is a big thing, is that a lot of people they have a very narrow viewpoint on what meal planning is.
Mhm.
And that's something I want to make sure that we talk about today because meal planning can be as simple as what Juliet was talking about. Because in my mind, in my definition for meal planning, Juliet absolutely does meal plan. She goes and she intentionally is shopping in the produce section. She's going to markets. She makes meals that are going to help her over 2 or 3 days, making a little bit of extra so that she can like carry that over, doesn't have to do dishes more than once, right? Like all of those little things, if you are doing them, that is meal planning. I don't set aside one time during the week that I prep for meals. I but when I am prepping, like when I'm chopping veggies, I chop veggies for multiple meals at the same
Mhm.
time. If I already have a cutting board out, I already have a knife out, these are dishes that I'm going to have to do. Preparing everything at the same time, chopping 2 or 3 onions, despite how much it makes me cry, um, is something that I am going to do. I will chop up 2 or 3 peppers at the same time, even if I only plan on using part of one pepper for the meal that I'm getting ready to make. That way, the next meal that I'm going to use it in or whatever,
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about those. And so, however you decide to break up your meal planning, making the decision, being intentional with what you are shopping and trying to maximize your time in the kitchen so that you are carrying over. All that's meal planning. Go ahead, Iris.
Thank you. And you know what? I used to chop so many onions before that it stopped bothering me. Then I didn't chop no onions for a long time. And when I went back, oh my God, the tears in my eyes were so bad. So going back to Juliet, amazing Juliet. And I mean all of this, all of you guys, it's just triggering things out of my awesome mind.
I love a conversation that triggers things.
I know. It's
From an
like,
awesome
and
mind.
it's so many triggers that it's like, where do you go? Where do you go? So taking back on Juliet, that, like you said, Maggie, that is not just meal planning. That is geniusness because going having the conscious decision that you want to feed your body what's best for you, what's best for you, what you know is best for you, and you plan ahead and you go to a supermarket to buy what's good for you. So even if you don't plan it as in today I'm going to eat this and tomorrow I'm going to eat this, you already planned that what you're going to give to your body is a healthy choice. And it goes back to making the decision
Uh-huh.
of of betting, I mean, doing what's best for you, which it goes
Yeah.
back to what Jennifer said. Um, Planning to making the decision. However, making the decision doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. But if you leave your house and you come back with healthy choices, you make it easy for you to then that's what you have, right? Because meal planning, just because you make plan for your meal doesn't mean that it's healthy choices. How many people plan their days and their week and what they
Oh, we froze up.
poison in boxes.
Oh, we're back.
So
Okay.
we're back. We're back. I was like, what happened?
I got worried
Go
for a
ahead,
second,
Maggie.
but we're good.
Go ahead, Maggie.
I think Juliet was next.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
Juliet.
thank you, Iris. Maggie. Yeah, so what Maggie said, I think one thing is I used to do in France. I can't here because I don't have I used to have an enormous freezer. And I used to be in south of France, so a lot of vegetables and fruits available. So what I used to do is during summer, I would buy like so many fruits and vegetables. I would cook them and then make like small portion. So in the winter, like when we didn't have really time to cook or something, I was busy or anything, I would just get it out, put like some rice or some pasta or something, and I knew I had all my vegetables like ready to go. The only thing for me is really you need like a big freezer. I used to have like this big, like the top like you open and I think it's a nice, so I do it sometimes, but it's really small portion. It's for 1 or 2 meals, not for, and I don't do like summer to winter because it's too small. But but it's also, I think, kind of good to when you don't have anything like, oh, you didn't plan enough or something, went wrong in the week or something just wasn't, sometimes you are not fast enough to eat and it just go to waste. So I think it's a good thing I just don't want to have too much thing in my head, and I don't want the meal to be my time taking. Here, Maggie.
I love that you brought up like being able to carry things over, and I'm kind of a nerd in a lot of different ways. Um, but one of the things that I have recently got really excited about, unreasonably so, is canning. Um, and like,
Oh yeah.
so I have started preserving and like making my own soups so that I can have like jars of soups already ready to go. I know what's going into them. They are a lot less sodium than a lot of the things that you can purchase in the store. Um, and when you bulk buy, when you can bulk prepare, you actually can save a lot of money, especially if you do find good ways in which to store it. Freezing is one way to
Mhm.
do that, canning is one way to store it. But part of this conversation really is about like how does it affect the rest of our lives? And by buying in bulk, by being able to store in bulk, setting yourself up, setting your life, your kitchen up to take advantage of seasons of plenty actually does give you more resources to help carry over and carry through. Jen, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a few things. We're talking about how preparing affects the rest of our life, but like Juliet was saying, using the foods that you already have in your home. A lot of people are throwing out a lot of foods because they're not using it. And Maggie referred to preparing your own meals. When you prepare your meals, you know exactly what's going in it. The quality of the food is often better. There's less sodium, there's less processing. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is like Maggie was talking about making extra vegetables, making just even extra food. Like if you're already in the kitchen, you're already making dinner, make enough that you have dinner and then lunch the next day. And what I stay tuned for, it's going to come out. I want to do a cookbook called Leftovers because we make such great leftovers. And it's just this idea that leftovers don't have to be bland and boring. Leftovers, we had
Yes.
cauliflower pizza last night with vegetables from the night before that we had. So it's just like making leftovers into something fun and creative and sustaining your life in a healthier quality, as well as saving money in we spend money forefront in the quality of our foods, but we save then in not having prescriptions. I always say you either pay for it up front in your foods or you pay for it in the end in medication. So this is a great topic. Thank you, Maggie. I'm so glad you brought this, especially early in the year. Let's make
Yeah.
2025 like amazing, can we?
And
Yes.
hopefully continue the momentum that people start with in January. I feel like
Yes.
we start to lag in February. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in line, Iris. Go ahead.
And hey, we're on this together. Everything
That's right.
shared is amazing because I think there's an ear and an eye for everyone to see and hear. But what I wanted to say is on what Jennifer stated and you, Maggie, about preparing your own meal because out there you don't know what you are eating. I once was helping a chef cook a meal and I learned a lot. And just the mashed potato alone, and I can only think what happens on restaurant, the amount
Mhm.
things that goes into that. It was so impactful to my mind because I don't eat that way. And I would rather eat the potato without no salt or anything if I have to eat it with anything. If I have to choose a healthy way, I will go even without salt, right? This had an enormous amounts of things that no one should be putting in your body, not in one meal. And that's just the potato, the mashed potato. Delicious. My God, the best delicious. I was told I didn't even try it because when I saw what was in it, so I think about when we go to restaurant, what are we eating? Like what exactly are we eating? Because we don't know what they put in there.
Mm-mm.
I can tell you that one of the restaurant, my favorite restaurant, um, the same meal, and this is when I used to eat fish with broccoli and another vegetable, and the impact in my body was so detrimental. You didn't want to be near me, and it happens each time I ate that meal. So you never know what you're eating, even if it's something simple as vegetable that is supposed to be healthy, because you don't know what's put in. So prepare your meal, people. Prepare your meal. Yes, Maggie.
You're
I
right.
I just want to jump in here real quick. As a chef, I was taught to use a lot of chemicals. Like they're
Yeah.
they're not all necessary. They are all chemicals, but
Mhm.
they're not necessarily what we think of. But they are added in to create certain reactions, right? Like
Hmm.
boba tea is one
Mhm.
of those things that you cannot make boba tea without a chemical reaction. You do not get the little pearls of liquid unless you create a film that holds the liquid separated. And in order to do that, there is a chemical reaction that has to occur. Do we need that chemical reaction within our body? Not really. Is excessive amounts good for us? Probably not. Is an occasional indulgence okay? It's probably fine. But you should be aware that anytime someone is bringing one of these miraculous kind of meals for you, that there is a chemical reaction that goes into making that. Um, it is literally a class that is
So
taught
people's
how
addicted to
to
food.
go through and alter food to get certain
Hmm.
qualities to come.
It's what keep us addicted to food. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
I- Uh, well, there are a lot of chemical reactions. Sugar by itself is a chemical reaction that
Hmm.
creates a dopamine addiction inside of our brains.
Yeah.
Refining, processing, these are all things. I know Juliet had her hand up early, so I'm going to go to her next.
Just a quick one. Sorry, I'm so shocked.
Don't be.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
be.
Yeah, I just need to kind of process this info. Never gonna go in a restaurant in US again. I think I'm gonna be like, what? I don't know what's in it.
For the record, some of them are French. I love you.
Yeah, Zana's the best one in France, that's why. But yeah, so I think so in France we have like there's a lot of regulation. Adding chemicals is not something you normally have. Maybe in small restaurants like no one knows about, or but yeah, specifically for mashed potato, like mashed potato is just mashed potato with butter, a little bit of salt. Um, so we used to do like we had a trend 10 years ago around cooking. Like I think it was more alginate to make food with like pearls of carrot, pearls of whatever you wanted to do. So we used to they used to do alginate, but most of the people didn't like it, and I think it altered the taste of your food too. So they kind of stop it quite. Although alginate is not too bad for your body, and it's quite, but it doesn't taste good. Yeah, so I'm shocked. I'm sorry. I was just kind of it's a shocking part of this kind of conversation on the restaurants. Um, Jennifer.
Um, it's not just the restaurants. The
Yes.
food industry, they put chemicals in the foods so the buyer has an experience. That's why children, when they go into food stores, they don't even understand yet, but they cry for their favorite cereals because they're being programmed, because it's the sugar, like Maggie said, sugar is as addictive as cocaine, as heroin. It is an addictive substance. The food industry knows exactly what they're doing to get you to. Why do you think people eat potato chips? They can't put them down. It is because of the chemicals inside of it. We honestly can rabbit hole on this conversation, but at the end of the day, I think the takeaway should be number one, prepare your food. And number two, really be mindful of what you're purchasing. Like the front of the label is all the advertisement, the actual back of the label. Read what's in there, read the ingredients. I'm reading ingredients, all natural dog biscuits. And I was saying to my husband, even though there's 5 ingredients, the last ingredient is a chemical. So guess what? I will be making their dog treats this afternoon because that's it. I don't even want my dogs to have chemicals.
Iris,
Yeah.
you had your hand up.
Yes, yes, yes. And I forgot what I was going to say. But one thing that I wanted to go back into the regulation of food in United States, because yes, a lot of the dish and a lot of the recipe comes from other country, but other countries are not allowed to do that. Here, we don't have the same regulation. Here, if you see the bags of Cheerios or cereal or whatever, the ingredients in this country that are allowed, in other countries where they come from, they are not allowed. So even Chinese food, China don't eat the things that they feed us here. China don't eat the things that they feed us here. And you can see it's a difference between the health, the ratio of obesity, the ratio of how bad we are when in the health industry because of the way that we are allowed here to do versus other country. They have much regulation. They take care more of people health. Yes, darling.
So hold on. My hand popped up. Okay. I've been doing really good not to let it get to the point where it pins me. But I wanted to jump in because highly processed foods, whether you are getting that from a grocery store, out of a box, out of a freezer, or depending, not every restaurant does. I'm just going to say that, but it is legitimately a class. These are all things that we've got to be aware of. And if we can make the decision for preparing our own meals, having knowledge of what's going into it and making those choices, we can really improve our health. And by making those choices, you a lot of people, I hear this all of the time. It's one of the things, and I want to make sure we get to it, is that they don't have time to eat healthy, that it is a time-consuming process. And really, if you are investing, it's like Jen was saying, you're either going to invest financially in the beginning or you're going to pay for it at the end through medical expenses. Time is the same way. You can either invest in the beginning to gain that time by cooking your own meals, getting things prepped, or you are going to have that time taken from you in a various and a sundry ways. Because we have all, at some point in time, if you go out for fast food or dinner or whatever, you can spend extra time sitting in lines in a car at a fast food restaurant or waiting for a waiter at a restaurant. If you have half an hour where you have prepared half of your meal early on, it can only take 15 minutes to get ready. And you can learn how to prepare all of these things ahead of time to, again, maximize so you can minimize your time in the kitchen, um, and get that time back so that you can spend that time doing other things that you really enjoy. I don't know, exercising could be in there. Go ahead, Juliet.
So I'm just I do agree with everyone here. I was just thinking not everyone. I think we talk about cooking your own thing, and so we have something, I don't know if you have that, something in France which is called HelloFresh in UK too, and basically they send you all the fresh fruit and vegetables and the meat, and the recipe. You can choose the timing, like, oh, I'm gonna have like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 90 minutes, and then gonna do like step by step, like how to cook your vegetables, to clean them, to cook them, and stuff like that. Because I think we have been talking a lot about cooking your own thing, but I think most of the people don't even know where to start when it comes to cooking.
True. That is true.
And I think it might be a little bit expensive, but you can learn how to kind of actually cook your onions, or how to cook your pepper, or how to cut them. And I think it's a good start when you don't know, because it's going to give you how much time you're going to need to prepare every meal. And I think it's really when we are not used to cooking, and like the only thing you cooked was one eggs or maybe pasta. It's some kind of help. They're going to make you start somewhere, and then you won't need it. You just have to go to the market. But I think it's nice also to kind of say that.
By the
So
way, 75% of everything that I learned in culinary school is available on YouTube. I'm just saying. But
The world is full of information. We are the one not seeking for it, but we are bombarded by information. We just need to open our minds and eyes to and ask ourselves, is this the life that I want? Is what I'm if what I'm if what I'm doing right now helping me be better, or can I do something different, especially when it comes to your diet or when it comes to your food, because that's essential. We know what makes us sick. We know what holds you back. We know this. Why aren't we learning?
yeah, absolutely. So I know we've been at this for a minute, but there's a couple of things that I really would like to hit in this conversation. We've talked about um, how meal planning can impact our finances. We've touched on how they can help with like time management. But I want to touch on how meal planning can really affect something, and I think Iris will like this one, is relationships with other people. Because when you are planning out your meals, you're preparing, especially if you have other people in your life, when they see that you are thinking ahead, including them in what it is that you're planning and taking the time to make those things like that honestly can be a really easy way to improve relationships. Jen, I saw your hand up. What are your thoughts
I
on
love
relationships?
that. Well, and Maggie knows, Maggie got to experience my eating. I love food. And every morning I have a conversation with my husband. We plan what we're having for dinner. It's our
That's
time to
beautiful.
talk, our time to plan, and it's our connection, right? And it's about food. It's about what goes into the food prep, the love that is infused in the food. We always sit down and have our meal together, regardless of what time. And I think that's important in relationships, in the co-creation of what you're putting into your bodies. I love that. It's a beautiful thing, and it is something that bonds people. Food. Food is my love language.
Go ahead,
Iris.
Iris.
This is fun because I was putting my video, my creation, my content creation, and the last video that I was putting together is a couple in the kitchen, and they are dancing with a plate, holding a plate, and it looks so beautiful. And my caption is, supporting each other cannot be just in the bed.
Mhm.
So me helping each other in the kitchen, which is any aspect of life, is is part of a relationship. It's a relationship. Relationship is not. You have to have a balance
Yeah,
where everything takes place as a community of two
Mhm.
couples together. And meal planning is an amazing place to be every day because you eat every
it's
day.
it's so true.
It's beautiful,
Juliet, did you
incredible.
have something you wanted to add in on this?
okay. No, no, I think we just
Okay.
went through everything and we can talk about it another time.
Well, I'm going to throw a couple of things in and then we will wrap up this session because I loved what Jen and Iris put in. It is so true. And I want to touch on the fact that one of my very favorite things is really to start conversations with people about their food, their cuisine. So I have been building up a coaching business, and I have a lot of people who assist me who live in foreign countries. Pakistan is one of those countries that I get to talk to people with frequently, and it is really exciting to talk to someone and then start asking them questions and see how alive their face gets, how excited they get to talk about what it is that they like. Or they'll be like, oh no, if you're like, what about this? And it's not part of their culture or something that they personally enjoy. And so when we're talking about food being a language, nothing says community more to me than to prepare something and share it with someone else, because we all have to eat. Feeding our bodies is a universal human need. And when you can give from you to someone else, it doesn't matter what language someone speaks. It's a sign of friendship. They know that you are open and you are welcoming because you are willing to share food. And so put that thought in, even if you don't have the time to spend together. I make hummus. It's one of our favorite household snacks here. And my husband absolutely loves when I make hummus and I make his favorite flavors. 90% of the time, he runs off to go play video games and eat the hummus. But I know when he's eating the hummus, that he will appreciate me for having taken the time to make that and make it available for him. So, um, those are my final thoughts. We are going to be wrapping this up here. I am going to take 1 second just to let you guys know we talked about this the last week in January, but we do have a summit that's coming out next month in March. And I want to just touch on it again, letting you guys know that Women's Journey to Wholeness Summit, we are all a part of it. We are all bringing these individual perspectives, and we are going to have the opportunity to deep dive into our own areas of expertise in this summit. So please make sure that you are looking out for that. I know that we are going to start putting the links out to register for that in all kinds of places. So stop by, go check out everybody's Facebook. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just thinking we could probably drop the link to the summit in the comments below for this Transform Your Sunday session.
Yeah,
Just
that's
for
a good
you.
idea.
You're not gonna want to miss it. It's 3 days of amazing coaches coming together, sharing their insights. So
And it's not
exciting.
just the four of us. There's going to be like 9 of us there.
I know.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it is 9 of us. This is so
9.
cool.
All
So cool.
right, so we will wrap up there. Thank you guys so much for joining us, spending
Yes.
another Sunday where we bring you all of our best so that we can transform into a better lifestyle. Make sure that you follow along and drop in the comments. What did you hear today that was either surprising or that you really agree with? All right, bye everybody.
I
Bye.
know.